When the sun goes down, you know where I'll be, with a case of good time and some John Deere green, kicking sparks to the sky. I'm in my zone every night, spraying on that campfire cologne, a campfire cologne.
Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of JNR Outdoors. Tell you what, we're out here Saturday morning. We're fighting the weather today, about what, 3 or 4 hours. We're supposed to see some pretty heavy rain, some snow coming in, but that won't stop us from being out. I'm out here today with Devin. We got the boat. We're at the lake. I was here. Well, I don't know when I'm gonna post this video, but there's been a couple videos on this lake, and we're just gonna call this the lake because I'm not releasing the name of this lake just because this is not a numbered lake, but the bass that are in here are huge. And Devin doesn't know this, but we're gonna catch a lot of fish today, and some big ones. So just stay tuned. We're gonna launch this thing and maybe give you some tips on the water. We'll see you in a second. All right, so a little bit of delay. We had to run the hardware store because we forgot a very important thing when launching a boat, and that's it's a plug. I don't think you really want to launch a boat without a plug in the boat. I mean, it's a challenge if you want to, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. So we're back out here at the lake now, and we're gonna catch some fish. All right, so like I said, the plug was a mistake by both of us, but there's fish really close to this launch, and I'm sure some of you guys can figure out what lake we're on just because you're around here. But we're not gonna necessarily say it. But I'm telling you right now, this lake's great for jerkbait, wacky rig, and jigs. So that's pretty much what I'll be throwing today. They're kind of transition fish right now between the pre-spawn and the spawn, so we should get some good action. Stay tuned. Very first cast, ladies and gentlemen, on the KVD rod that he hooked me up with. And it's a dink, but hey, they're out here biting. I just threw it up against the dock, just jerkbait that son of a gun, and got one on. All right, guys, second fish of the day. It's a foul hook. That's just because he's just swiping at that. And they're gonna be using their longitudinal line this time of year just to kind of feel their way through. Again, we're still on a jerkbait. Stay tuned for some more fish. All right, Devin and I were just having a dink competition. We're like, whoever catches the first dink wins. Well, I think I won this thing. Fish number 3 of the day. It's bigger than the other ones we caught. I mean, he's not bad. These are some pre-spawn fish. Even the small ones got a fat chunk on them. So I'm gonna let this thing go, and we're gonna keep catching them. Like I said, though, I mean, look at the color in this thing. These are definitely pre-spawn fish. Hopefully there's gonna be some bigger chunks like this up in here in this grassy area. Like I said, stay tuned. We're eating some Doritos. All right, so a little quick tip for you guys. In water like this, in the pre-spawn sort of season, you're gonna want to be throwing a jerkbait. And when you're fishing this thing, you want to fish it off a drop-off, like the one we're kind of on here. And it all depends on your retrieval speed. So what I'm just gonna do is just gonna burn it in there, maybe about a 40-yard cast or so. It's all just gonna be on your retrieve. And instead of using the reel to move your jerkbait, you want to just keep the rod. And the rod I'm using is a 7-foot medium heavy, so it gives a perfect amount of action so I can load this thing up when I get one. But this reel is only supposed to retrieve your line on this thing. It's not like your crankbait where you're gonna always be cranking it. You're just gonna want to keep some slack in that line. And I'm gonna be running about 17-pound test. And you're gonna keep burning it. And that when it stops, and when you put that pause in your retrieve, is when they're really gonna hit that. And especially this time of year, you're gonna see a lot of fish that you catch. You're gonna be foul hooked, because what they're gonna do, they're using the longitudinal line to find what's kind of around them, so they can hear it. So you're gonna want to get a rattle in your jerkbait. You're gonna want to be kind of keeping that tight, but when they go up, they kind of swipe it, because they just want to see what it is. And especially when they're trying to defend their beds, they'll be fighting that thing. And up in here, like, you can't see it, but it's clear, and it starts to go on a drop off. So I'm throwing this thing right along this drop off. And when I got on today, it's just a KVD sexy shad thing going on. And the setup I'm using, I'd usually use a bait caster, but I love this rod. You can't really find this rod for casting, so I'm using a spinning combo, and it's just a 7-foot medium heavy. It's a 2-piece rod, and it just gives you a lot of action. So when I can load it up when I'm catching them, and it gives me a good hook set. Unlike, you get a stiff rod, and it's a stiff rod's bad for this because it doesn't give you a ton of action. You want to be able to feel this thing all the way through. What I do like about this rod though too, it's got a light tip so I can feel it, but it's just got a lot of beef down here towards the shaft. so I can just easily hook set that thing. And you don't want to, you're gonna almost want to be able to rip it out of the fish's mouth. You're just gonna want to be raunching on that. And for more jerkbait tips and everything like that, you can go ahead over to KVD's channel. KVD is the jerkbait master. And I mean, I got about 30, 40 of these jerkbaits, and there's all different colors. You're gonna want to try to match it to the watercolor. So today the watercolor is kind of black, and you're gonna want to get like a black, you know, dark purple, and run that through there. On sunny days, you're gonna want to be running like a chartreuse, like a white, and it's gonna want like this rattle. It's got 2 or 3 rattles in here, tungsten, and the deeper the better this time of year. But there will always be shallow bass. All right, guys, quick little shout out. We never really do these, but my man Dave Mercer. If you guys don't know who Dave Mercer is, he got to hang out with him a little bit last weekend, but I've known him for a while. He is the MC, he's the announcer for Bassmaster Elite Series Classic. He is the guy that does all the weigh-ins. He's the voice that just announces everything on Bassmasters. He also is running a YouTube channel and a TV show called Facts of Fishing. Facts of Fishing has been on ESPN, the Sportsman Channel, Outdoor Channel, all sorts of stuff like that. But he recently just started up his YouTube channel for those shows, for smaller videos. So give him a shout out. Go like, subscribe. He's almost to 1 million, and I know we can help him get up there. He's just an awesome man. If you guys know who Mark Zona is, Mark Zona and him are just almost exactly alike. Mark Zona's got a little more energy to him, but I mean, Dave Mercer, man, that guy's Canadian, but he's an awesome man. But yeah, I'll drop a picture in this video of what he looks like, and he's just an awesome man. I'll drop a link definitely below. Just get him to 1 million, and go comment on there, tell him JNR Outdoors sent you. He messaged me this morning on Instagram asking me if I can give him a shout out if I'm on the water today. So Dave, here's your shout out. You know, hopefully you can get back on the boat again. It's been a while since we've been fishing together, but you know, for sure, go give him a like, subscribe, and drop a comment in his comments section on his channel. So. Alright guys, I want to try to do this in almost every fishing video. I'm basically just going to talk to you about what I'm throwing. I got Devin back here running the boat. We're heading back to the launch. If you guys really, if you don't care what I'm throwing ever, I'm sorry. But I know there's a few of you guys out there that are wondering, especially you new anglers, what I'm throwing. First off, I'm just throwing this football head jig with a crawl jig trailer on it. This time of year, especially to the pre-spawn, they're going to be out. They're going to be eating craws. I mean, you can look on the inside of their mouths and it's gonna be red, and that's just from all the craws. So I'm throwing this. All my rods are quantum, by the way. All my reels are quantum, just because I'm friends with them. And this is 6'6", just bait casting setup. It's a perfect for jigs, and I caught a few on that. Just a couple dinks, nothing huge. This lake's a numbers lake. On rare occasion you'll get over a 4-pounder, but pretty much you're gonna be catching 2, 3 pounders. But that's okay, you know, everybody loves catching fish. The next thing I'm throwing is, yeah, it's gonna be real. Next thing I'm throwing is this little kind of finesse worm on this trocar hook. That was my favorite brand, just because Mark Zona is an awesome, and it's kind of his line of hooks. And it's just a little, I think these are made by Yum, this little finesse worm on the red color. Anytime you're fishing soft plastic, you're gonna wanna match it to the watercolor. So like today the water's black and dark, so I'm gonna be throwing a lot of these reds and a lot of that green pumpkin jig. And you don't want to be fishing unless, in a rare occasion, you'll get them on something like white or pink or like chartreuse. But for the most part, you're gonna want to, especially soft plastics, you're gonna want to match it to the watercolor. And so I did peg this thing with a little tungsten hook. I think it's like I think it's a 3/4 ounce. So it's pretty heavy, and it's just kind of bouncing on the bottom like this. just kind of sticking straight up and kind of bouncing that. This is a lighter rod. It is it's a 7-foot medium, so I mean it just got a lot of action. And I like 2-piece rods for some stuff, believe it or not. Was never a huge fan of 2-piece rods until I realized the action they give. And then this thing just loads up. I don't know if you guys can see it, you probably can't, but this thing just loads up. And again, you're gonna want to beef your shaft, but you want a sensitive rod, especially when you're throwing any sort of soft plastics. I'm just gonna cut it. Next thing I'm throwing, you want to grab that? I already talked about the jerk bait, so we don't need to talk about that again. But this is one of my go-to rigs. It's a wacky rig, right? Everybody loves them. Just with a little weed guard hook, you can pretty much fish this any time of the year. This is probably my most confident lure. I'm obviously have the most confidence in. And this is you're gonna want the lightest action rod ever. I mean, look at this. Look how much I can just bend this. I mean, it's perfect. Lighter line. I mean, this is only about 6-pound line. I don't think I'll ever put an 8-pounder out of this lake that we're on. And light rod. I think it's a quantum. Yeah, it's a quantum 5'6". I mean, this is a really short rod. And that just gives you a lot of action because you want to be able to feel this thing on here. But when you're setting the hook, it's a challenge because you're gonna want to just raunch on it, right? And otherwise, because you're basically keeping them from biting this, so they have to hit this hard. So before you hit it, before you actually set the hook, let them hit it 2 or 3 or 4 times, and actually wait until they have it in their mouth. You can see your line kind of taking off. I'm running fluorocarbon, so it's kind of different. It's a different way to see it. You can't really see it, you just can feel it in your rod, and that's why you really want a sensitive rod tip like that. I mean, I'm barely pulling on this thing. And but this is a trocar with one of their weedless hooks. It's got a little pegged weight on it. I mean, it's like a 3/8. It's very, very light. And another thing you can do with these wacky rigs is you can get a split ring, and it's like an O-ring setup, and put it on here, and then kind of set it up like this, right? And it's just a preference. I've done it both ways. But again, I hope you guys enjoy this sort of tackle, thing. If I'm catching if I'm catching a ton of bass or just one thing, I'll talk more about it. But today it's just kind of been spread out. I caught a couple on a jerkbait, one on a jig, and I mean it's just been all over the place. This weather's really unpredictable. This water is I'd say about 40 degrees, so it's still really cold. And we don't have graphs out here, so we can't really tell where the drop-offs are. And that jerkbait, that deep diving jerkbait, is perfect for finding where the bottom is, especially if you have a sensitive rod tip, because you can just kind of feel your way through there and kind of make your own graph. So again, I hope you guys enjoy this sort of tackle tip and maybe give you some more luck on the water. All right, so I was telling you earlier, this jerkbait is awesome because this one actually ate this. This is the first one I've had all day actually eat it, and you can watch him follow it. And even though this guy does not have a huge mouth, he's not really. I wouldn't consider this thing a dink for this lake, just because. And I'll show you in a second. You're gonna want to have a hard hook set. And like I was talking about earlier, I watched my rod load up. Yeah, I was watching my bait, but I watched this rod load up. And as soon as he took it, my rod tip bent. And if Devin would get us out of the bushes, we'd be fine. But he literally took it, and my rod tip bent, and that's when I swarped on him. And you can tell in the summer this thing would not be as big of a stomach. But I mean, this is a good pound and a half, especially on this side. You can just tell they're dark color, dark stripers out here. So yeah, this might be the last fish of the day, just because we got some bad weather coming in. But yeah, this is again, this is the type of fish you'll be catching out here on this lake. Just because, I mean, you can just tell its fat stomach. It's a female, and you can just tell she hasn't really spawned yet. But yeah, this is not a terrible bass for this lake. This is what happened when a couple of idiots try to put a boat on a trailer. The launching part is easy, you just kind of just push her off, and except there was one time where we did a full send to the lake when it was icy. But I think we're gonna go meet up with Jared here in a second, so we'll see you in a second. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you like it. Hope you like, subscribe, and leave a comment below, and we'll see you next time.